The Capistrano Valley Cougars football team has a long and storied history, so many great games and so many electric Friday nights. The Cougars in 2022 are energized and excited to carry on the legacy. Led by Sean Curtis in his fourth year at the helm, the Cougars come to every game well prepared and having one goal in mind, and that is to win. At quarterback is the extremely talented senior Trey Kukuk, a gamer in every sense of the word. Today, Trey joins me in an awesome football discussion. Anchoring the defense is junior Jackson Seivers. This young man is the real deal, and he loves the game of football. I tell you what, I love this show, so get ready to hear from head coach Sean Curtis, quarterback Trey Kukuk, and linebacker fullback Jackson Seivers. I'm Paul Higgins. This is Coach's Corner, and all the action starts right now. Coach, it goes without saying that coaching is in your blood. Did you know it from an early age that you were going to be a coach someday?
I think I had it in the back of my mind. Obviously, I started coming back and helping my dad out in college, and once my NFL dreams kind of petered out, I just kind of fell in love with working with the students and doing that in the summer. And I caught the coaching bug, and it just stuck. Never let it go.
Tell me about when you were young and you were growing up and watching your dad on the sidelines, and now every now and then when he plays on an opposite night, he gets to watch you on the sidelines. What is that transformation like for you?
Oh, it's super special. I mean, it's really cool. We got to scrimmage each other the last 2 years, and we're super competitive. So, you know, we both told each other we'd go easy on each other, and that we kind of broke that promise early on, and that's all in fun and games. But I loved going to the games when I was young, being there for my dad, ball boying, being around the Friday nights. Now I have 2 kids of my own that are on the sidelines with me, so it's really kind of came full circle, and it's really special.
Let me take you back quite a few years on this field. It was back in 1986, 87 that I started Athletes in Motion, and at that time we had Todd Mrnovich on this field. Of course, it was grass. It wasn't as nice as this, I can tell you. This is absolutely beautiful. And I say that because I'm a Cougar. I graduated from Capistrano Valley High School, went to San Clemente my freshman year, and then graduated from here. And those were electric times back then. I know that I'm going to guess you weren't even around then. Is that correct?
I was not, for sure.
So that was an amazing time. When you think about Cougar football and Cougar tradition, you know, all the great coaches that have coached here, and here you are coaching. Do you ever look back and say, oh, Coach Enright, Coach Coonerty, you know, Coach Elixeri, all these guys that were coaching here.
Right.
Do you think about that at all?
100%.
Okay.
You have to. I mean, the Capital alumni in the county is unbelievable. Everybody you bump into, you go to a grocery store and they see Capital football and they'll stop you and, hey, I went to Capo. You know, a lot of people that came in, and when I first got the job, supported me, and a lot of those people like you just named that were been from the beginning telling me, hey, you know, make us proud, we're behind you. And so that's a really, you know, kind of a special thing that I think we have, maybe some other programs don't, with a really big alumni base, a really strong history. A lot of, you know, if you break a school record here, you're breaking a record that's probably been held for, you know, decades. So it makes us unique for sure, and I can't wait to hopefully continue to build those traditions and keep growing on the tradition that's been here from the beginning.
Yeah, it's special times, and I know that you're laying down a foundation. So if this is a job interview and I say, well, Coach Curtis, tell me your philosophy. What is your approach on football? What comes out of your mouth when someone asks you that?
Love them hard, coach them harder. Okay. I took that from Pat Harlow at J. Sarah, just an unbelievable relationship builder, understanding that they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So I really try to make sure that we build those relationships with the boys, you know, early on, and make sure they know that we want the best for them no matter what. Because you know, we're in a super competitive area, a competitive league, and we have to be able to coach them hard and demand a lot from them. It's a super big commitment. So I'm always kind of looking at it through that lens. And I also use this sport, high school football, to try to build, men of high character. I really, truly believe that good teams, good, strong teams that are families, that have brotherhood built, that can win you football games at this level. And having that experience for them to leave here with, to have friends for life, and do things that maybe nobody expected them to by playing together. It's the best team sport in the world. So building that kind of family, that camaraderie is what we try to start with. And then obviously, it's our position to put them in position to be successful. So bringing in coaches at a high level and doing things that we have confidence in and the boys have confidence in, they have a say in. We're never going to run the same offense for 15 years. We're going to look at what we have and try to mix and mold it and do what's best with the teams that we get, and that's what makes it fun.
You mentioned a couple things that stands out. One, you just said 15 years. And before that, when in the initial question, you mentioned about you knew when your playing days were over and that your dream was not going to be fulfilled as a player.
Yeah.
What is your dream as a coach? Is it to coach high school, or is it to coach at a college level or maybe a professional level?
I get that question a lot.
Sorry about that.
No, it's flattering for sure. And I think the answer that I usually give is I'm going to give it 110% in this job as long as I'm here. And whether if that prepares me for the next level or another stop down the road, I don't really think about it too much. My goal is to try to always get better and be the best possible coach that I can be. And my goals have always been to become a head coach. Once I got into the assistant coaching, I kind of learned the lay of the land from some really good guys. Obviously my dad, Jim Hartigan, Pat Harlow, Scott McKnight. I learned a lot of things that I knew I was kind of stockpiling over the years to have ready for when my opportunity came. So if I were to jump to the next level and be a position coach, it would be a totally new challenge. It'd be super fun. I know I could do a really good job at it, but I got a young family. I got a beautiful wife who's got a great job in Orange County, and we want to build our home here and be here. But yeah, if somebody calls, you got to take the call and see what opportunities are out there. But I mean, I could stay here for the rest of my life. This place has kind of been that landing spot for me that I could see myself staying here for a very long time.
Well, let's talk about Cougar football, because I covered you a couple days ago with El Toro, and I know that game didn't end the way you wanted it to end, but I was watching you on the sidelines. You seem very composed on the sidelines. I heard what you had to say after the game, and I know this is a bounce back time for you guys. You want to bounce back, get ready for league. What about this team? What should the fans expect? What should the parents expect? What should the alumni expect out of this team this year?
You could expect us to play hard to the final whistle. I know maybe some coaches say that, but I really do believe in this group, and it's never been an effort thing with them. They always give full effort, so that's an exciting part. I think with Trey Kukuk at quarterback, we always have a chance, any game, any opponent. He gives us a chance to win. But this team specifically has got a lot of young talent. We're still counting on a lot of sophomores, a lot of guys that weren't in the Friday Night Lights last year. So at the end of the day, I told the boys, we're 6 points away from being undefeated. So if those 6 points were made up somehow, and that would have changed your mindset or changed how you were feeling confident about this week, then we're already behind. We need to have 1-0 mindset every single week. And I'm excited about where we're headed. This program's got a lot of tradition. We got the new turf field, the new jerseys, a new weight room, a new team room. We've done a lot with our facility upgrades to try to keep up with some other programs in the county. But above everything, I think when you talk to the seniors that leave this program, it kind of comes back to what we talked about in that last question, with just the brotherhood and the family, and what these guys are going to do for each other on the field. But we're still trying to take that next step. I think the El Toro game, credit to them. They gave us a good run for our money, and obviously at the very end punched it in and took the win. But at the end of the day, I think we're this close. We're right there. We're doing everything right. We're not changing anything we're doing just because of that game or a tough loss like that. I think we're building to be like the other South Coast League teams that we're about to go up against.
Trey Kukuk certainly can run the football. Does it make you nervous when he runs, or would you rather him stay in the pocket, or what? That guy's got some legs, and I covered him as a Pop Warner athlete.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, we're obviously not calling all those runs to get him in harm's way, as much as he kind of finds himself in that position more often than not. But But he's an unbelievable athlete. I think one thing about Trey is, every single play, he's going to give you 100% of his effort, and he's going to do everything he possibly can to win that rep. And you'll see it with the way he scrambles and extends the play and never gives up, and it's really cool to see. But we do try to scheme things to keep him protected. That was our message over the weekend was, we dropped back 56 times. We had to scramble for 13. We took, I think, 5 or 6 sacks, something like that. So that's too many hits on the quarterback. We're trying to get the ball out a little quicker, get some new receivers, going. We had 4 of our top pass catchers aren't with us. One of them is Dane Benedicts, who's coming back next week, but the other 3 were seniors and left. So what teams like to do is they like to just play coverage and force Trey to take off and run. So it's really kind of a chess match that you got to tell a 16-year-old, like, hey, 8 guys at the line of scrimmage are turning and running away from you. It's time to take off and win with your legs.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of our philosophy of making sure that he's managed, and we don't always overcoach him and tell him to protect himself or do anything that he wouldn't do naturally because he's such a good athlete. We got to let him go.
And you got Jackson Seivers that I'm going to be talking to a little bit later on today. A great young man, only a junior.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's outstanding. Yeah. He ended up starting for us as a freshman in the COVID season. He's a good baseball player too, and he's got that grit. He was the first team All-State as a sophomore. He's a team leader. He's a captain as a junior. He led the state in tackles as a sophomore. So I'm really excited about him. I'm really excited we get one more year with him. I'm glad we don't have to play against him. But the most impressive thing with him is, when college recruiters come in, they want to see, guys that do multiple things. Jackson plays tight end, he scores touchdowns. He goes on punt pressure and he blocks kicks.
He doesn't come off the field.
He really doesn't.
Yeah.
And the things he does at linebacker are amazing, but he's an amazing athlete and just a difference maker. He's a total playmaker that we just love having on the field. Fun to watch.
Yeah, I can tell that you're excited about this team. And again, you mentioned it's a young team and you're going to make your inroads in the league and play with all the other teams around here.
Yeah.
If you tell a team one specific thing prior to a game, normally what is that?
My message kind of changes week to week. But my main message, I guess, is turn up the adversity meter. Okay. We're going to need to deal with adversity. It's going to happen. The other teams that we play so many good teams that they're going to make plays. They're going to get some stops on us and do some things. They're well coached. So when adversity comes, turn up your resiliency meter and be able to deal with that and forget it and move on to the next play. Is kind of the main message. But yeah, we'll tailor it each week to kind of match where we're at, and obviously, like you said, this week it's bounce back week. We gotta be ready to seek some revenge for if we were angry and frustrated from last week, then it's time to take it out on our next opponent.
Well, I thought this was a pretty cool interview because right before the interview started, you showed me, look who's calling, and it was Dad. So you didn't pick up. So I know we talked to you for about 14 minutes, but Dad, this is where he was. There's a reason for that. Great talking to you, man.
Thanks, Paul.
Congratulations.
Appreciate
4 years here now at Capistrano Valley. Such a pleasure, and I wish you all the best the rest of the season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That was cool.
More cool to come as Trey Kukuk, the Cougars quarterback, joins me. The senior has all the tangibles to lead the Cougars to the playoffs. Trey Kukuk, next, right here on Coach's Corner.
Trey, this is an awesome field, and I know that you enjoy playing at Capistrano Valley. Tell me your thoughts. You and I were just talking about it, how you switched from defense and you started playing offense. And I've known you a long time.
Yes,
I knew
sir.
you're a little guy playing for the Bears.
Yeah, yes, sir.
But tell me about why quarterback and what you enjoy about it.
I love quarterback. I love defense playing my sophomore year. Like I said, I loved our defensive coordinator, Jacob Van Every. He taught me a lot of things about football and everything. Love that side of the ball, but there's just something about quarterback. You know, watching football, you're always watching the quarterback, right? He's a leader on the field. I've always felt like I have the qualities to be a good quarterback, and I think that fits my skill set the best, and I feel like I can, you know, have the most potential at that position, and I really like all the accountability that it, you know, offers, that you have to take accountability for really every guy on the field when you're at quarterback.
When you wake up on Saturdays, are you sore?
Oh, I mean, it does depend on the game. You know, sometimes there's some clean games. You know, sometimes my offensive line has a great day and I'm sitting in the pocket looking pretty and throwing some good balls to my receivers, but there's sometimes where if I'm scrambling a lot, running for my life type thing, I'm definitely sore in the morning, definitely. Yeah. Yes, sir.
If there's a quarterback out there that you try to emulate, that you try to make, I'm going to pull from this guy, I'm going to pull from that guy, right? Who would that be?
I think I pulled the most from Lamar Jackson. I think for right now, I'm a pretty athletic quarterback in high school, so I think I use a lot of his mobility and just decision making outside of the pocket. He makes a lot of plays outside of the pocket, and I really like to incorporate that to add to our offense, and I really think it brings out a lot to our team.
What about Murray with the Cardinals? I mean, you kind of...
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I love Kyler Murray. I love him. He's a great player. He's super fun to watch. Those two guys are very similar. So definitely those two guys I like. The mobility and what they offer as a throwing quarterback as well. They can sit back and they'll go from a 25-yard gain running people over to sitting back in the pocket nice and calm and throwing a 30-yard dime. So, yes, sir.
Murray seems about your height. Right?
Yeah.
To me, I mean, and he's thick. You're thick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I watched you the other night against El Toro. I know that game didn't end the way you wanted it to,
sir.
And Coach was explaining the fact that you guys are 6 points away from being undefeated.
Right.
I get that. Mm-hmm. You've got some piss and vinegar to you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
You take it seriously.
Oh, I'm a very competitive guy. Me and Coach Curtis alike, we're very competitive. So sometimes, I mean, it's just at the end of a game like that, it's hard to not, you know, just want to run it back and want to rewind and just analyze every play. And, you know, going over film, you're just thinking of all the yardage lost, all the incompletions, anything little that you can really take back. And I always want to win. That's the 100% the goal. So when you lose in a close game like that, especially 2 weeks in a row, it definitely hit a little hard, but I think the team is ready to bounce back from it.
Maybe a stupid question, but I'll ask it anyway because I've asked a lot of questions.
Yeah, no stupid questions.
Do you learn more from a loss, or can you learn more from a win?
You can definitely learn more from a win. You can definitely learn more from a win, but I think you learn a lot from a loss. I think for the most part, you learn a lot more from a loss. I think it really affects the players a little bit more. You know, I think it's a hard pill to swallow. Yeah. So you feel it and you don't want it to happen again. So you really dive into everything and go the extra mile the next week leading up to the next game, and just to not let that happen again.
So you're getting ready to break a huddle, and you guys don't huddle a lot.
No, sir.
But when you're going up to the center,
sir,
what do you look? Can you tell me? Say this is the field. What are you looking at? Are you looking at the defense? Are you expecting? Are you adjusting? Again, I kind of know what you're going to say, but tell me about that.
I'm always looking at the defense. That's the main thing as a quarterback. You break that huddle, and you're looking immediately at what they're giving you. So we have a drawn up play, and I can obviously check into a different play. If they're giving us a certain look, they give me, you know, that freedom to do that. But always looking at the defense first, then obviously checking to see if my guys are aligned, and then, you know, that pre-snap read is huge for the play, so then you snap it and you're ready to go.
Okay, so I got another one for you because I was really amazed at what you were doing at that quarterback position. When do you know when to take off? Because you took off a couple of times, but then you pulled it back.
Right.
And then you took off again and you pulled it back. You know, tell me about that yo-yo effect that you have.
So I definitely, my first year at quarterback, I struggled sometimes at leaving the pocket too soon. And that's one of the things I pulled from guys like we talked about, Lamar and Kyler. Those guys are extremely athletic. They can probably leave the pocket every play and run for 10 yards or 6 yards, but sometimes it's more important to stay in the pocket and let everything develop. So what I've learned is when I leave the pocket, always keep my eyes downfield. And then a lot of teams now, after 4 weeks of film, I leave the pocket and there's a lot of guys waiting for me. Right. So that's when that scenario of leaving the pocket, then pulling back, and then hopefully waiting for a receiver downfield and kind of just waiting for some holes to open up, and then I take my run and go for it.
So I'm complimenting you, but I also have to compliment your offensive line,
yes, sir,
because they have to be so patient in what you're doing, right?
Yes, sir.
Because if they leave and go downfield, there's going to be penalties,
right?
And or you get thrown for a loss.
Yeah.
So let's pay homage to those guys.
Oh, of course. You always got to pay homage to those guys. They had a great game against El Toro. We had one of our best. We call it scramble drill. Yeah. So when I'm scrambling, they did an amazing job keeping up and blocking their guys, and that's what really opened everything up for me. So those games where I'm scrambling a lot and running through a lot of yardage, all thanks to them. All thanks to them.
Well, you know what? I want to thank you, because what a gentleman you are. Your parents are awesome. I've known them for a long time. I haven't seen them in a little bit, but I did see your mom the other night. Thanks to them for bringing up this young man. That's amazing. So good luck to you, and I'm sure we're going to be talking down the road. Hey, awesome, man. That was really good.
Anchoring the defense for the Cougars is Jackson Seivers. He's only a junior, but he's one of the captains and one of the best players on the team. He's next.
No, I don't know though. I'm scared.
Do you know that you're in my lane?
No, not at all.
Are you not paying attention? Are you texting?
I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6.
It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention.
I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Jackson, what I was amazed at watching you the other night is that you're only a junior.
Yes, sir.
And you don't leave the football field. Do you ever get tired?
Yes, but I gotta fight through the pain. We conditioned hard all summer and all before season, so I'm conditioned enough to play both sides and all special teams.
Yeah. Tell me about that. I mean, do you ever look over to the coach and wink, wink, can I get a drink of water or what?
No, sir. I mean, I love football so much that I don't want to leave the field at all, and that no matter how bad I'm hurting, I never want to leave the football field.
So if you weren't playing football, what sport would it be?
Right now I play baseball too, so I'm a two-sport athlete. So I play first base and pitcher for baseball.
Okay. So if mom and dad came to you and said, you got to pick one sport, I think I know what it is, but go ahead.
It'll definitely be football. I mean, I'm in love with football right now, and that I would never quit that in my life, no matter what.
Tell me about being a Cougar. I just told you I graduated from Capistrano Valley. You asked me what year, and I said I can't tell you. It's older than the turf right here, because this turf was not here. But do you know about, the history of Cougar football? Do you ever look back at that, or does that matter?
Yeah, I look back, and a lot of my coaches graduated from Capo, and they're saying how good the culture was when they played, and the culture's still great. And it's a brotherhood, and just Cougar football is amazing.
So back in the day, it was 1987. It was right over your left shoulder here. And Todd Marinovich had just broken the all-time passing record.
Yes, sir.
And there was probably about 7,000 people here. There was people sitting on those houses back there watching the game. Believe it or not, it was crazy. And then this whole fence area was nothing but kids. And it was an electric time for football. Do you feel as though that energy is starting to resurface again?
Yes, sir. During COVID, there wasn't much fans that would be allowed here. And now after COVID, a lot more fans are showing up. And our student section over there is amazing, one of the best in Orange County, and I'm just really grateful for all that, for all of them that come.
Where do you get your motivation for football? Is it winning? Is it hitting somebody? Is it being hit? Is it all the above? Is it the brotherhood? Where does all that come from? Can you explain that?
It's a little bit of everything. I play middle linebacker, so I love hitting people, and I love the brotherhood. I mean, I made bonds with all my teammates that I couldn't make anywhere else.
Do you feel as though since you're a junior, you let the seniors do the talking, or tell me about that? Obviously, you're a standout on the team. You don't leave the field that often, but do you talk up?
Yes, sir. I'm a captain on the team, so I have to talk up and be a leader out on the field. And if people are slacking off, I got to tell them to get it right and focus in and win. Okay,
I know you're being really timid right now, but if I'm not doing my job, I'll say I'm a safety or a cornerback, right? What are you going to tell me? How are you going to tell me that?
I don't think I can say that on camera, but I mean, tell you to wake up and do your job, and you're better than that, and play with some confidence.
Okay. So when coach says that to you guys, after the game, I was listening to him, and he said, hey, we didn't do this, we didn't do that. We have to do this, and we have to do it this way. Does that ring a bell with you, or do you just go, all right, coach, let's get out of here, I want to go in and out?
No, that rings a bell with me, because I was thinking the same thing the whole game, and that we came in way too confident. We came in thinking that we're going to run right through them, and it bit us in the butt at the end.
So how do you learn from that as a player? What are you, 16 years old, 17 years old? And how do you learn from that, being so young and really still young with the game?
After a loss, you learn a lot from it, and then especially if you're too confident and you walk into a team that's below you, you're gonna think they're gonna run all over them, and they proved us wrong, proved the whole world wrong.
Yeah. Now, your thoughts about running the football? You got a chance to run it the other night. I watched you, and you're a pretty good back.
Thank you.
Could you ever think about being a running back, a fullback, or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, during endos, I try to go out running back, and I'm trying to become a running back right now and learn all the plays and what to do and all the techniques. So hopefully I'll be a running back in the future.
Tell me about this team in a sense, Jackson. You've got some important league games coming up, and we'll mention it again, as Coach mentioned. You're 6 points away from being undefeated, 2 tough losses.
Yes, sir.
But about league, and what do you got to do to get to where you want to be?
We, as a team, we need to work harder, and we lost by 6 points in for both games, and
that's a tough one. Who do you see as your toughest opponent before I leave you?
We definitely think that Mission's gonna be our hardest opponent. They're ranked like 2nd in the state, and they're crazy good.
So, not giving anything away, how do you slow them down?
We just need to go out there. They're gonna think that they're gonna run right through us, and we gotta punch them in the mouth and just try our hardest and win.
Do you know where that game is? I'm drawing a blank. Is it here or is that Mission?
It's at Mission. It's the very last game of the season right before CIF.
Okay, that's a pretty good tease. We'll all be there to watch that game, right? I want to wish you congratulations, because what a fine young man, what a fine football player you are with a tremendous future.
Thank you.
All right, man.
I appreciate it.
That was awesome.